Hello everyone, this is the GoPro Hero 8 Black and this is the GoPro Hero 11 Black, and the question is the GoPro Hero 8 still a good camera or action camera in 2023? And there's a very simple answer to that. I know. What is the simple answer? Well, the simple answer is this. If we have a limited budget, which most of us have, and you need an action camera for whatever reason, then it's all about if this camera can do what you need it to do, then this is still a good camera for you. And if you need it to do something more or specific things that only the Hero 11 can do, then the 8 is not for you. The way I use the Hero 8 is maybe different to other people because I don't use it as an action camera, so I don't have it on a bike or whatever. I'm not jumping out of an airplane or something. I have it where I need a camera that is very small. So I film car videos, so I film cars driving, and for example to film the cockpit or the instrument cluster as some call them, I use them. And the other thing is, what is amazing with the GoPro cameras and all of them is that they're very easy to use. With a good camera, a full frame camera that I'm filming me now, it is an amazing picture. It's way better than the GoPro can do, and I think a lot of smartphones now have way better camera than the GoPro. The thing is though, you put the GoPro somewhere and press record. You don't have to think about aperture, ISO or anything. It's just put it there, press record, and if it's not too dark, it will be a great picture. In the darkness, there's a difference here, and the other thing is sound. I also don't need sound out of this. This is for picture only. Like I said, I either have it here in the car to show the full car while I'm driving because it's just so easy, and my main camera I use for other things while I'm driving, or the cockpit, like I said, where it has to be very small. So it's easy to use and very small, and that's my thing. Before we go through the specs in detail, what the difference is between those two cameras, let's just make it very easy and fast. 11 is heavier, is bigger. You can change the lens cap here, so you can put on a different cap. For example, here I have an ND filter that I can put on the 11. You can't do that with the 8. And you have a front-facing screen that can show you what you're filming. This is amazing when you film yourself and you want to see if you're framed correctly. Here you can't have that. You just see in the 8. You just see that it's recording and what type of recording it is and stuff like this. But it is lighter and a tiny bit smaller. Also, there are different batteries now in the 11. They have a bit more charge, but the recording time, I would say, is almost the same. But they're better in the cold if you need it outside. Of course, software here is way newer. There's a bigger sensor. We talk to about the specs in a second. Stabilization is better, stuff like this. Sound should be better. We check it out in a second. But those batteries do not fit in here, and those are better in the cold if you need that. The specs in more detail. The 11 weighs 37 grams more. I just weight them so I know. Like I said, tiny bit bigger. The display is also a bit bigger. We have a 27 megapixel camera instead of a 12 megapixel, and we can record 5.3K instead of just 4K, and we have of course higher frame rates. In the 11 you can now record 4K with 120 frames per second. In the 8 it's just 60 frames per second. Hypersmooth is 5 on the 11 and 2 on the 8. And like I said, different processor, different battery. But it's also about the software when it comes to features that maybe you need. For example, the 11 has now horizon lock. That means you, with the 5.3K resolution that you have, you can put on in 4K the lock. That means that you can turn the camera fully 360 degrees around, and the picture will stay level with the horizon. The 8 does not have that. Then there are special features like star trails when you do time lapse with the GoPros, that you can have trails of your stars when it's moving around, and other things that the GoPro 8 does not have. And by the way, I bought special battery doors for both cameras, because the doors that the cameras come in, you cannot plug in your USB-C cable to charge while recording with the door closed. You have to keep it open. That's really annoying. And these are doors where you can do it while it's closed, but of course it's not waterproof anymore. But I don't need that. So, filming in 4K 24 frames per second, linear lens. Right now, how is the sound? I'm around 50 centimeters away. If I get closer, is it any better? And what if I'm behind the camera? That means if you're filming something, how does it sound then? So like I said, picture quality in 4K with a very good lit room. And you have 3 lens options that you can use on the GoPro. It can be linear, wide, or super view. In the non-linear lens options, of course, you have a very curved view. It doesn't look very natural, but if you need to see something and you're very close, that's the only option. Now we go from the well-lit room to a darker room, and then maybe even to very dark. And this is still in 4K, and this is then almost darkness. Now we have the Hero 11 and I can see myself, so that's amazing. It's the same distance, the same 4K 24 frames and linear mode. How is the sound? If I get closer, how is the sound now? And how is the sound if I'm behind the camera and looking at the screen? Let's go through all the lens modes. Wide, super view, and this is hyper view, where it automatically goes to 5.3K. And let's do the same thing, going from well lit into less lit, and then almost darkness here. Like I said in the beginning, it all has to do with your budget. If you have unlimited budget or you don't care how much it costs, then go for the 11, of course. What I also prefer is the on-off button. It's a bit outside and you can find it very nicely and press it. In the 8 it's flat, you don't feel it, and you have to press very hard and long so it works. So here is the 11, 10 times better. For both, by the way, what I also have noticed, there's the voice command that your GoPro should turn on. This doesn't work in the 11 anymore, but it still works in the 8. But now I have a GoPro remote where I just turn it on, and the GoPro remote turns on both cameras at the same time, can start both cameras at the same time recording, stop it, and turn them off as well. And the GoPro remote can just stay on. It doesn't barely take any battery if you just leave it on and not send anything. That's awesome. It's an awesome thing for me, so I can use both cameras at the same time and don't, in the car while driving, don't have to fiddle around with turning it on and pressing record, or use the voice command that sometimes works, but when you drive a bit faster and the noise, road noise is a bit too loud, it doesn't work. So it is about money. GoPro 11 on the GoPro website is 600 euros. When you get the special abo every year, it's 450 euros. But when you just buy it from a source, so not GoPro, it's I think the cheapest price I found was 470 euros. The 8 you can find used right now at around 200 euros on eBay or something. And like I said, if the features that the 11 has are not important to you, you can still go for the 8. The picture quality is still good. It has enough features that I'm saying it's still a good camera. If you never have to change the lens cap here, or not the lens cap, the glass in front of the lens, or if you don't need a front-facing screen, it's still fine and you can get 2 cameras for the price of this. But that's it for me. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Bye.